Hi, it's Becky Brown, Associate Pastor at First United Methodist Church in Waynesville, and we would like to invite you to our very first virtual Wonderful Wednesday. We're going to be hosting that at 6:15 this Wednesday, May the 13th, and we're going to be having the Wonderful Wednesdays for the next several months, so we want you to be a part of it. There is a Zoom link that will be provided that you can join in on that discussion, and there's a way you can look at all of the classes and groups that we're offering right now, so you can click this link to see more about that and sign up. So we hope that you'll join us. Join us this week if you can, next week if you can't, this week. We just want you to be a part of it. And so each of our teachers are now going to share with you about what they're going to be leading, so I'll let them take it away.
Hi, I'm Donna Gaither, and I'll be leading a class called Sharing Our Story, Passing Along the Lessons You've Learned. Now, this series was prompted by a book I read several years ago by David Brooks called The Road to Character. In the book, he examines the lives of a number of great leaders: Dwight Eisenhower, Dorothea Day, Francis Perkins, General George Marshall, St. Augustine, and a number of other leaders. And he looks at the people and the events and the things that shaped their lives that really then influenced how they led and shaped other people's lives. Now, this won't be a lecture class. It'll be an opportunity for you to do some personal reflection about the people and events and places that shaped you, that made you who you are. Each week I'll be giving you a list of questions for you to think about. Now, you may pick one question or two or all of them, and you may write in a journal or just think about them, put them on computer, draw a picture, whatever helps you to reflect. You don't need any kind of book or any other kind of preparation. Then each week we'll come back and share some of our thoughts and some of our experiences. So I hope you'll join me as we think about the stories and that we have lived through, and the things we've experienced, and some lessons we've learned along the way, and perhaps some wisdom that we've gained also. I hope you'll join me.
I look forward to being with some of you in a gathering of the Zoom class that will be meeting on Wednesday evenings. I have proposed that we look at a book that was published in 2016. It is an Adam Hamilton book. And as you know, Adam Hamilton does a marvelous job of presenting difficult theological issues in very simple terms. The book that he published back in 2016 is entitled Half-Truths, and he examines 5 statements that you often hear in life and conversation of the church that people just assume are things that occur in the Bible and verses that come out of the Bible, and that's only a half-truth. These statements have some validity, but are not universally applicable. The statements that we will be examining in a 5-part session in this Zoom class are these. Everything happens for a reason. Well, there's some truth to all of that, but we're going to cross-examine that statement. The second one, God helps those who help themselves. Is that always true? Third, God won't give you more than you can handle. Again and again, I hear that phrase being used in gatherings at the funeral home or in tragic situations. We're going to look at that and examine it critically. A fourth examination will be, God said it, I believe it, therefore that settles it. Does it settle? We'll examine that. And finally, love the sinner, hate the sin. How many times have you heard that said? Well, that's sometimes true, but is it always true? We're going to have some really good fun, but also in a very serious manner, cross-examine these very popular statements that carry theological import that sometimes do more harm than good when they're spoken. Come and be a part of this. We will start these Wednesday classes not immediately, but in the month of June, each of the Wednesdays of June, and one over in the 1st of July before the 4th comes along. So I look forward to you being with me. See you in Zoom.
As I grow older, one of the things that is very important to me is I want to age well. Part of aging well also means physical things, but how about spiritually aging well? As I look at that and consider that, one of the things that comes to very important to me is the fact that I want to be able to understand my life and to understand the meaning of life. The Apostle Paul, as he writes to the church in Corinthians, says that we have a treasure in earthen vessels. Now, I understand that, but at the same time, I would also say that there are times I feel like my vessel has a crack in it, and I lose the meaning of life and the power and the understanding of what my faith can mean for me. And as a result of that, a few days ago, I came across a book that has been very important to me in my life. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. The author was Viktor Frankl. The story of Viktor Frankl himself is quite fascinating. But then in the book, he really presents a very good concept of how do you find meaning in life and how does that meaning apply to your everyday situation. So what I'd like to do for 6 weeks together, for about 45 minutes each session, is to talk about different aspects of the meaning of life and how that it applies to us. We're going to look at six separate biblical texts. We're going to study those together, and then we're going to ask the question, what difference does it make, and how does this apply to who I am? This journey is a journey that will be exciting, I hope, to you, and I hope you will join me. Again, I'm Laurie Reeves, and I will be leading the session.
Hi, I'm Catherine Smith. I'm going to be leading a youth study group that's happening on Wednesday nights. In this study group, we're going to be studying the book The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis. So before every Wednesday meeting, I'm going to send you a read aloud of myself reading you the chapter that we're going to discuss, and all you have to do is listen to me read, and then we'll come together and talk about what we've all listened to and share in some great discussion and great questioning. So I hope that this sounds interesting to you and that you choose to join us on Wednesday, May 20th for our first meeting. See you then.
Hi, I'm no substitute for Reverend Jim Cooper, but luckily he is leading this class and not me. So let me tell you a little bit about his class called Journaling in a Time of Pandemic. In the May 11th, 2020 issue of Time magazine on page 23, there was a short piece about journaling during the COVID-19 pandemic. The writer suggested that such records as journals might not only be meaningful now, but could also provide first-person records to family members and even historians decades from now who might look back on this period in our history. Using the 8 questions of the Daily Examine, class members will reflect in their journals on their impressions and experiences of the present situation, and also think about how the emergency is affecting the community, nation, and world. Whether you are an experienced journal writer, want to try it for the first time, or are somewhere in between, you are invited to join us.
Hey there, my name is Laurie Bass. I am one of the group leaders for our wonderful Wednesday Zoom groups that we are just getting started with. And my group is a women's group, but unlike my normal groups where we do a Bible study, this time we're going to try something a little different. And we are going to do a book club. And the book that we are going to be reading together is a novel. It's called Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. It is an incredibly powerful, wonderful spiritual novel, but it's also got a little romance and a little action. I mean, it's just a really great book. So we would just love, love, love to have you join us if this sounds like your cup of tea. We will be having 6 weeks worth of sessions. The first week will just be a get to know you. And then after that, we will read a certain number of chapters and some scripture to go along with it, and then meet each week to discuss it. So we are looking forward to lots of great conversations and laughter and just building each other up in the Lord while we just seek after his heart. So join us, grab your book. Again, it's Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. Hope to see you there. Bye.
Hello, my name is Leo Coffey. I am firmly planted in the 20th century, and yet here we are in the 21st century. I am curious, I am amazed, and sometimes fearful of what the future holds. The computer age is upon us, the digital age, artificial intelligence. Where will all this lead? I would like to have a group discussion for 3 weeks on Wednesday evening to talk about the promise of the digital age. What will it bring to us? What will it take from us? I'm looking for people who are curious like myself and willing to talk about their experiences and what they hope for in the future. Thank you.
Becky and I want to invite you to a Journey Group Leader Training. Our vision for First United Methodist Church is that everyone will be involved in a Journey Group. A Journey Group, it's a small group experience. It's not a Bible study. It's not like a Sunday school class where you would have a curriculum. It's actually patterned off of the small groups from the 18th century Methodist revival. They're transformation groups. John Wesley's genius was that he got people into small groups. They called them the class meeting. And in these small groups, in these class meetings, they could watch over each other in love. There was this intentional getting into each other's lives with this basic question: how is it with your soul? Or where have you seen God this week? How can we help you? How can we support you? You know, as God calls us to live into our best selves, who God has created us to be, as God calls us to be the church, we can't do that alone. And so the Journey Group is a safe place. You know, sometimes our kayaks are going, you know, like if you're on the Green River, you're hitting some serious rapids. And so we need a safe place where we can be our true selves, we can take our masks off, we can talk with each other about what it means for us to be followers of Jesus and to kind of hold us to that flame. So there's a curriculum that we'll use. Kevin Watson actually wrote a book called The Class Meeting, and so we'll kind of walk through that book a little bit. We'll give you some information on how to get that resource, or you can come by the church and get it. So let us know if you're interested. I look forward to seeing you on the Journey Group Leader Training Zoom.
Hi, I'm Terry Bevill. Several years before we moved to Waynesville, I had met Matthew Blackburn when I brought youth groups to Wilderness Trail. So I was pleased when he and Becky invited me to lead a youth group in Disciple Bible Study. Disciple Bible Study is a great way to have the Bible open to you and a way to see the big story, the story of God at work in the world, the story that we are all a part of. And it's a great way to help clarify how discipleship might look in your life. There's a lot of reading, good bit of reading. I can't get around that, but it's nothing you can't handle. There'll be 12 sessions, each about an hour and 15 minutes, give or take, depending on the discussions we have, the questions you raise, the topics we discuss. And we hope to start soon after the school year is over. I hope you'll come along on this adventure of Disciple Bible Study, and I look forward to seeing you this summer.
Hey everyone, so the class I'm going to be teaching at Wonderful Wednesday is going to be concerned with the songs of John Prine. Many of you know John Prine died about a month ago due to complications from COVID-19. And John Prine happens to be one of my favorite songwriters, if not my most favorite American songwriter. So what this class is not going to be, this is not going to be a comprehensive look at everything that John Prine ever wrote. I know there's plenty of you out there who know more about him and his music than I do. This class is also not going to be an attempt to say that John Prine wrote religious music. He did not. But what I think is so compelling about John Prine is that he takes all the elements that make up the human condition, from joy to sorrow to laughter to the ridiculous to the profound, and puts them into poetry in a way like no one else ever has. And so this is going to be a 3-week course. I'm thinking about calling it John Prine, the Sacred, the Profane, the Mundane, and the Insane. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for us. So I hope to see you on Wednesday nights to get to know the music of John Prine a little better. Thank you.